Farming sims. Wait, no, don't go yet. Most people don't like farming sims and think they're really boring. And you know what? They're absolutely right. I mean, just think about it. It's really slow, and all you do is plant, water, harvest, and repeat over and over again. And with so many great action games on the market recently, it's hard for farming sims to even compare. I mean, I've given Rune Factory 4 a chance before, but I didn't like it very much. On the other hand, I've played basically every Soulsborne game except for Dark Souls 2, and I just finished God of War Ragnarok, and whew, what a game that was. So when I picked up Harvestella back in early November, I said, oh god, what have I just done? I mean, sure, I bought it on a whim, and I really didn't have anything pressing in the backlog at the time while I was waiting for God of War Ragnarok. But, I mean, how could a farming sim like Harvestella even come close? At that point, I just said, whatever, and figured that I could power through it even if I didn't like the farming that much. And I did enjoy the action and story. So much, in fact, that for this review, I will not mention farming at all. That's right, from now on, the word farming will be banned from this video. After all I wanted from the game was the JRPG action adventure and hopefully the story that came along with it. Okay? Okay. So, here's my review for Harvestella. Let's start with the really important part of the game, the action. To be honest, it's not like the action is deep or anything. It's actually really simple. You have a simple 3 to 4 hit combo that deals damage, and then you have special skills that you can use that have specific cooldowns. The unique part of the action here is that you can equip 3 different jobs, and all of those jobs have different combos, recovery times, and skills. Enemies all have their own weaknesses, and while dungeons may be themed around certain weaknesses, it's fun to try out different combinations as well. Plus, you have to use jobs to level them up to learn new skills, so you slowly get more moves to combo as you progress. Against most enemies, you kinda just spam attacks and skills while rotating through jobs, and you have to dodge AoEs that can really hurt. Granted, even if you do get hit, healing is pretty easy since you just have to bring and then chug bajillion vegetable juices that you get from the practice of cultivating land or raising stock. Yep. I tried it in real life to see if it would work, but it didn't quite go so well. The action isn't difficult per se, but I thought it was decently fun. But to me, what made it really fun was the time management part. So every day you wake up at 6 a.m. and automatically faint at 12 midnight if you're not back at your house. So aside from fitting agriculture into the day, which doesn't take too much of the day by the way, you have to account for the time when going through side quests and dungeons. While there's no actual rush, since there's no hard deadline, the time portion really put pressure on me to get as much done in a day as possible. And planning that and executing it was pretty fun in its own right. Aside from time, you also have to manage stamina. Stamina doesn't recover on its own unless you eat food which you can cook at the house. So since basically everything takes stamina, it just adds to the pressure of doing as much as you can with the limited time you have every day. I vividly remember so many times I just have so little stamina left at 9 p.m. while exploring and just thinking, I'll be fine, and barely making it. Or fainting. Exploring dungeons was also fun. There are a lot of cool environments. You have an overgrown research lab, an underwater temple, or just a nice little forest area. There's this super cool mix of fantasy and sci-fi, but I can't talk too much about it or else we'll go into spoiler territory. The point is, the environments are cool and really fit the theme of the game. But you know what I can't talk about without spoilers? Story. Exploring dungeons and cultivation isn't the only thing that you'll be doing during the day. There will of course be main quests, a narrative to follow, and characters to recruit. When I was first playing the demo, I didn't really see anything impressive. Sure, there was the hot doctor who would heal me, and a cute roommate, but nothing really stood out. Only a few hours after the demo was when the world really started to open up. And only after the world started to open up did I realize how wrong I was. There were suddenly so many characters to recruit and side quests to do that I was overwhelmed. Let's talk about the characters first. Once you recruit characters, you can use them in the party as allies and build bonds with them. I evolved from meeting hot doctor and cute roommate to oh mama! Square Enix, you did it, right? Thank you so much! Basically, you receive letters from any characters that want to meet with you, and they can either ask you to deliver something, go on a quest together, or just have a good old talk. But what's nice that it's kind of a slow burn. Your relationship doesn't go from 0 to 100 in the span of a day. It might take days or weeks depending on the character, and it adds up, since how often they contact you really depends on their backstory. What starts out as some regular old chats slowly evolves into deeper conversations. I didn't feel like getting to know them was too rushed. In fact, it felt very natural. Whenever I met with the characters, I was just focused on knowing them. Knowing their personalities, what their pasts were like, what brought them to this point, and what their dreams are for the future. I honestly thought that all of the characters were very well written, so I really enjoyed listening to their conversations and what led them to their current personalities. But this doesn't apply just to the main characters. Even the side quests were well written. There were very few like one-off side quests. None of the "can you get me a sandwich?" bullshit. Most of the side quests had actually good writing that extended over multiple parts. My favorite one was actually about 3 kids who were best friends. At first, the side quest seemed pretty simple because it just showed a bunch of troublemakers getting into trouble, but slowly it just evolved into something crazier than I ever thought it would get. It just evolved into a new theme of how friendships mature, and how people can stay friends even if there are fights, or maybe if they don't even live near each other anymore. It was one heck of a ride, and almost all of the side quests kind of followed a similar pattern. What seemed simple at first would eventually evolve into something much deeper and encounter more issues as time went on. It was just honestly great writing, and I really enjoyed reading through it, rather than thinking that it was just boring and I just wanted my side quest rewards. And so, on this topic, let's talk about the voice acting.
あなたのことは死ぬまで私が見るからね。
Ooh, that's good.
いってらっしゃい。寄り道しないでね。
Oh, beautiful.
おかえりなさい。
Oh, magnifique! Wait, where's the rest of the voice lines? I feel like I got scammed. Aside from a few singular lines, nothing else was voice acted, which is a big goddamn waste. The whole game should have been a free setup. You have amazing character writing, great side quest chains, and a great main story. Everything you could ever need for great voice acting. I already enjoyed the game so much without voice acting. How much better would it have been if there was? Sure, there were some one-liners every now and then, but I felt like I was just being teased this whole time without being given the whole thing. And look, I know that Square Enix has been putting all of their budget into Final Fantasy XVI. And I know it looks great. Hell, it looks amazing. But Square, could you not have just put a little bit of your giant Final Fantasy XVI budget into poor old Harvestella? I honestly think that if this game had voice acting, I would have easily named it as one of my top sleeper hits of the year. And while I still think it's a great game, I'm always left wondering, how much better would this have been if it had the voice acting it deserved? While it's not a top 10 game, it's probably a top 15 of the year. Okay, now that most of the review is over, it's time to talk about serious topics. I have a confession to make. It's about the fuck. I can't do this. I need professional help. Yes, hello there. How may I help you today, Mr. Yats? Doc, it's about the farming in Harvestella. I enjoyed it. It's okay, just let it all out. Just let it all out. Yeah, I admit it. I am scamming you just as Square Enix scammed me in the voice acting. I have to break my promise and talk about the farming. And that it was fun. Even though I didn't enjoy other farming sims, Harvestella's farming was just really fun for some reason. I think the main reason was that because of the set number of goals that they put up, while playing through the game, there are tasks that you can do to get more upgrades to make the farming part much shorter than it already is, and make more money. These tasks set direction for how to do the farming, and just following the goals while ensuring that I made enough money to upgrade my farm and weapons was really fun to figure out. There's no obvious like, hey, this is the best way to earn money, but you kinda intuitively figure out as you plant more, and the goals really encourage that. Plus, farming is not just used to make money. There's a pretty big crafting system involving all the crops you plant, and you can make all kinds of things from combat items to healing items to getting stuff like sprinklers to shorten your entire farming process. The entire farming portion wasn't that long either, and felt like a complement to the action adventuring portion and not the other way around. And I think that's why the balance felt so great. And knowing that I enjoyed the farming led me to thinking, maybe, even if I'm an avid action game enjoyer, there's a tiny portion within me that can enjoy other kinds of games. Maybe it's possible to like both action games and farming at the same time. These two genres do not necessarily have to be at odds. I mean, one may be slow and one may be fast, but you can't go at full speed all the time, right? Maybe a game can spin the farming in a way that uses it as a balanced part of the game, and uses it to make adventuring more fun. And I think that game is Harvestella. In this game we have this mix between slow farming and time-pressed adventuring, and it just comes together to form this beautiful, delicate balance. Which is why I want to encourage you, regardless of what genre of game you play, to try out Harvestella. Because within this beautiful blend of action, adventure, and farming, you might just find out that you can enjoy things that you never thought you would. And now, I have to figure out how to chug these.